Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Dychronic, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Xur, his location, his random rolls, my recommendations for April 29th, 2022. Excuse me, there's a whole lot of noise going on down here. You need to stop. Ridiculous. Anyways, you can find him in his regular location on NEZAREC'S. Just head over to the Watcher's Grave, and on this big old tree right here, I don't know why my marker's not there, but he's right here on this big old tree. Next to the precipice. Anyways, this is a high overview in case this is all you cared about. First up for the weapon today, we have the Hardlight, which is a 600 RPM exotic auto rifle. Wow, that's a lot of different ornaments for this. Exotic auto rifle that used to have infinite range. Nowadays, it just has a much longer range drop off than any other assault rifle in the game. On top of that, the shots also bounce off of or ricochet off hard surfaces and do increased damage after each bounce, but again, not nearly as much as they used to do back when this thing was dominating the Crucible. And on top of that, you can switch the damage type to any of the light elements if you wanted to use this for match game for whatever reason. For the most part though, auto rifles are not really that prevalent or powerful in the Crucible right now, although they are a bit more noob friendly. It's probably one of the best, if not the best auto rifle for Crucible. And then for PvE side of things, I wouldn't really like using this particular weapon as my exotic when I have things like Gallahorn or Ariana's, Arbalest, so many better exotics. Following that, for the Hunter exotic, we have the GEMINI Jester, where dodging disorients nearby enemies, creating a slight flashbang on their screen, and temporarily removes a radar for around 3 seconds, which is actually not bad. It's something that can be quite useful, especially when used in a team. You turn off the radar and you go, hey, go get them. They're doing the thing right now. They can't see you. However, it often just forces people to play campy, because you lose your radar, you're just gonna want to put your butt in a corner and wait. So it really depends. Your enemies may not play like you like them to. When it comes to the rolls, it has a good amount of mobility and then high discipline. So not a particular roll that would go well with this exotic, but total stats 62 is not bad. Ooh, dang, 68. Following that, we have the MK44 stand-asides. These pants are not good. You get an overshield while you're sprinting at full health with one of the shoulder chargers at full speed. And hits with these abilities recharge half of your melee energy. So it's kind of like poor man's insurmountable skull fort, but it's universal, and technically only universal to light elements because it only includes these 3 shield things. I thought they were going to change it to also include the stasis one, but I don't know. Either way, you get half of your melee back. It's based on melee. That shield doesn't do a massive amount, and you have to be, again, full health, full shields, full sprints with the shoulder charge. Is just too many things that just make it difficult to use. And it doesn't have an ornament, so you're stuck with it looking like that. As far as the roll goes, you like higher mobility, strength, and recovery. It has mobility, okay strength, but it's a very weird roll. And very weird exotic. Yo, speaking of 69, we got ourselves a NEZAREC'S Sin. Let's go. And I want to put the ornament on it because it looks nice. Although the green is kind of... I don't know why. I always get like a Darth Vader vibe from this particular ornament. But anyways, NEZAREC'S Sin, one of the better exotics in the game, where void damage kills increase your ability energy recharge rate. And this essentially increases it by like 5%, or it just gives you 5% from a void ability kill or a void damage kill. And that's very important because you don't have to be on a void subclass. You could be playing on stasis and using Gnawing Hunger or Palindrome, getting kills with those and getting ability stuff. So it's an omni-useful, very useful exotic that I would highly recommend. Although technically, if you're going to be using it with a void subclass, I still like Controverse Hold in almost every way better than this exotic, because you get your grenades extremely fast. And this is going to be useful in both PvE and PvP for those aforementioned reasons, because Void 3.0 is really good. There's a lot of really good Void weaponry out there, and honestly, ability energy recharge is always really nice. High recovery, high discipline, and low mobility is usually what you want on a Warlock, so this is an amazing roll for a very, very good exotic, and I would highly recommend you get it. Like, I'm just gonna get one. Like, I probably have one already, but I'm gonna get one. Following that, let's take a look at the different legendary weapons. 7 Seraph Carbine, a 450 auto rifle, hipfire elemental capacitor. Really not what you're looking for in 450s. In my opinion, are not as good as the 600s. After that, we have the JIAN 7, a 390 pulse rifle. Has some pretty good range options here, although I'm not personally a big fan of Outlaw anymore. Zen Moment is good, and I do believe it does have a damage perk option. After that, we have False Promises, a 360 auto rifle. Again, in my opinion, 360s and all the other auto rifles are not as good as the 600s in most scenarios, and this is not a very good roll. Following that, Timeless Vertex is an adaptive frame, which is a lead from gold snapshot. I forgot adaptive frames were in the game. There's the Gamma one I think is adaptive as well, but I forgot this one existed. But Lead from Gold is a good PvE perk. It does have accelerated coils, which faster charge time but less impact if you like that, and some range stuff. So not a bad combo, but kind of in the middle between PvE and PvP. The Widow's Bite, Firmly Planted Opening Shot, actually seems like a very good combo for PvP. Firmly Planted a lot better than people realize, definitely a lot more common these days, being used more, and it does have a bunch of range options which will help with the aim assistance, so it's actually a pretty good roll, although if I remember correctly, I'm not a big fan of the sight, so maybe you might think the same as well. And also it doesn't have Snapshot. Following that, Negative Space has the Tireless Blade and Surrounded combo. Not a big fan. I like Relentless plus Vorpal, or Relentless plus Whirlwind, and of course the Frozen Orbit, which is a moving target high impact reserve. This high impact reserve is not going to be enough to one-shot enemies in the body, but if you combine that with something else, high energy fire or an empowering rift, you're definitely going to make things a lot easier. Especially, I hear that the Warlock empowering rift is going to stop you from being able to one-shot in the body, but I don't remember exactly. Either way, this is a pretty good roll, but it does in fact have Snapshot, and I would prefer that instead. Following that, for the legendary armors on the Titan, 59 total, high recovery, a decent roll. 60 total, high discipline, okay other things, so that's okay. A 59 total, high resilience, not a big fan. And a 53 total, high recovery. Good distribution, because it has intellect as well, but not a very good total stats. And of course, finally, for the, oh yeah, make sure you pick up exotic ciphers and get some free ciphers. But of course, the exotic weapons, first of all, we have, we have Hawkmoon, which finally has a rangefinder, and I love rangefinder. I think it's the best thing you can have on this, and this technically has a lower range compared to a lot of other options like Palindrome and Fatebringer, and essentially higher range legendary hand cannons. It also has Hammer Forged rifling, and it has combat grip. So the greatly controls recoil is actually really good, because this will bring the recoil direction to a perfect 100. This will increase the range, and this will also increase the range. This is probably one of the best versions of this hand cannon that you can get. Extended barrel's not here, so you don't lose out on handling, although I do like polymer grip. I do think this is probably one of the best rolls you can have on a hand cannon, so absolutely get this. Holy God. Anyways, following that, we have Deadman's Tale with Vorpal, which Vorpal is actually a pretty good roll on Deadman's Tale for PvE stuff, and some people do like it for PvP as well. We have Full Bore, which is range, less stability, and decreases handling. Not my biggest preference, but who knows, maybe the blind fire stuff, you need that. And the Short Action Stock, which greatly increases the handling, which will counteract the issues with Full Bore. Depends what kind of thing you do like. Maybe you like some range and some handling. But Vorpal itself is really nice for some PvE stuff, and again, supers in PvP. Man, like, what does my Hawkmoon look like? That looks really good. So I'm looking at my roll for my Hawkmoon. Chamber Compensator, obviously recoil direction, smooth grip, which is stability and handling. I actually think that the one at Sir is better, so I would highly recommend that you get that. It's a really good roll. And of course, if you haven't seen it already, I do live stream right here on YouTube, oftentimes doing open lobbies for blah, blah, open lobbies for raids, for nightfalls, for seasonal stuff. Make sure to come check that out. And of course, a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Specifically, a big thank you to Mom and Dad, Christian Thompson, Kelly Allen, Oshrak, Jacob Berg, Monday, Stu Bachman, Unipanther, and Casey Reagan. Follow their support on Patreon. Anyways, that's it. My name's Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.